Well, as this story continues to move forward, let's get some analysis now from criminal defense lawyer Alex Ozols, who is in San Diego, a Canadian who practices law now near the Mexico-U.S. border. And Alex, we now know that the federal government of the United States wants to get an emergency order to stop the effect of the decision of the Seattle judge. What do you make of that?
Yeah, so it's clearly progressing pretty quickly. The issue is now the federal government, they've cited a law in their press release statement, and they basically said that the president has the right to restrict aliens from coming to the country. Now, there's two issues here. Whether or not the president has the power to do that, that's not at issue. I think all legal scholars would agree the president has the power to make a law. It's whether or not that law is constitutional, that's the issue. The other thing is when they have that law in there, it says that they can restrict aliens. Now, we have an issue here where they're talking about also restricting green card holders and legal permanent residents. So their executive order goes beyond where the law gives them the power.
These emergency orders, in a way, Alex, are a verdict without a trial, and judges are loath to do that, right? So we heard from the judge in Seattle, Washington, that he felt he needed to go ahead and issue this order because he felt there was harm being done to the people affected by the Trump order, and also that he felt that the merits of the case were here, that ultimately when it gets to trial, it probably will prevail. I assume that same high standard will have to be met before the federal emergency order would be granted. In other words, they'll have to prove that unless their emergency order, it's kind of an order upon an order, unless it's granted, there would be irreparable harm. That's going to be a difficult thing for them to prove, I think.
Yeah, so I think it's harder for them to prove. I think it was easier for one to prove that, or at least it could be unconstitutional. It's harder for them to prove that because they don't necessarily have the law on their side. They have something saying the president can make a law, but they don't have any proof or anything in the history of the U.S. that shows that this type of exact law with their exact restrictions in the executive order is constitutional. There's no law that shows that for them. So they're going to have to make whatever arguments they can to try and put this emergency injunction in order. And if a judge grants that, then it's just going to be litigated. This is going to come up at some point, and the lawyers are not backing down.
And one of the things we're seeing tonight, and we've certainly seen the Washington State Attorney General celebrate this, is the power of the law and the independence of the judiciary.
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, when you go to law school, when you first become a lawyer, you kind of live and you breathe for stuff like this. And this is something that, you know, it makes someone who's an attorney emotional to see justice actually happen. And to know that, you know, no matter what the president does, no matter what happens in the U.S., there are good people out there, there's judges out there, and no matter what the president does, he can't mess with the justice system. The judges make the final rule, and they did in this case, and it's really exciting to see that. So I hope that the attorneys prevail.
Alex Ozols in San Diego, thank you very much for speaking with us tonight.
Thanks, Ian.